Hey, what's up guys? Jake with Legacy 4x4 here again, and today we're back working on the skins of my do-it-yourself teardrop trailer. So in this video we're going to be doing hopefully the rest of the skins, honestly. Hopefully today I can get the other side done, the floor done, and the rear all finished up. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. We got a long day ahead of us. Alright, so in my last video I felt like I didn't do a good enough job of explaining the process really well, so I'm going to hopefully go into a little bit more detail today. But to quickly recap, we've got the driver's side skin all finished up and all installed onto the trailer. And I was initially hesitant that this glue wasn't going to provide a strong enough of a hold, but I came back out here this morning and this glue is extremely strong. I have some screws in here as well to hold these panels into place, but honestly I don't think I really need it. This glue is super strong and there's like no flex in this panel whatsoever now, so I'm really happy with how this is looking. For the skins of this, I went into more detail in the last video, but we're using 5mm sanded plywood that I picked up at my local home improvement store. And then for the insulation, we're using 1-inch rigid foam insulation in between our 1x1 square tubing studs. So we've got all that done. We've got the floor done, we've got the passenger side of the vehicle done, and we've got half of the front done. So today we're going to be hopefully finishing up the rest of these. We've got to do the other side, the back, the very front. We're going to finish up the rest of it aside from the roof, and then hopefully in the next video I'm just working on the roof. So for the process of this, I don't have a large table surface for my table saw that can easily cut these sheets, so I've been using a jigsaw to do it. Now, there's really not that many sheets that I have to cut, because most of it I just clamp onto here with some glue, screw it in, and then I come through with a router, a flush cut router, to shape it up to the steel frame that we have. That's how I got this side panel and these inner panels all routed out perfectly. But I gotta get some rough cuts for some of these interior panels, so we've just been using a jigsaw with a wood cutting blade on it. I tried using a circular saw and I found that caused too much chipping of this sanded plywood, but the jigsaw has a much smoother finish, so we've been using the jigsaw. So I've got the passenger side, or sorry, the driver's side inner piece. I just held it up there, marked out the pattern I've got to cut, and I've got it sitting on my welding table. So let's go through and we'll jigsaw out this this panel, and then we'll get it installed. Behind me we've got the other side up, and you can kind of see down here that I've got the floor down. So the floor's got weights on it, it's setting. I've got that other side up and fully insulated and installed as well. Now, one little tip I'll give for anybody that's doing this or making their own trailer and looking at this for inspiration is, as you're doing these panels, definitely take your time and think about the order that you're placing things. So like, I haven't had a significant problem because I mostly thought about it, but it would have been easier like to do the floor had I not done the front panel already. So you gotta like really think about like when you're gonna do these different panels, where they're gonna go, and what it's gonna look like, so that you can like fit different full-size panels into place as you go. Now, I didn't do that. I mostly did that, but like I'm definitely running into some little problems. So make sure you think about it, make sure you take your time on it so that you have plenty of access to get these different things into it. Now, I've got the two sides done. I haven't touched the front yet, but I'm going to transition and start working on the back here. So I need to get the back wall in, which is this wall here on these 1x1s, and then I need to do the entire back side of this trailer. So we're going to roll into that. I'm going to do this wall first, again, because I'm not going to be able to reach this once I get the rest of this back all done. So I need to get this wall done first, and then we'll move on. So on to that section.
It seems I can't find a place to go. There's a world of things I'll never know. 'Cause everywhere I go, there's nowhere I belong. And anyone just tell me, where will I find? 'Cause everywhere I go, I'm always on my own. Can
so back again, we've made some more progress, and I've got yet another tip for you guys. Definitely, if you have a friend, family, loose acquaintance, and you can give them a favor, bring them over for beer, pizzas, whatever, it would definitely be a lot easier to build this if you had a second set of hands. So if I had a second set of hands, I could use my table saw, and I could quickly rip down these, like some of these square sheets and stuff to the right size. It would be a better end cut. It would be less like finishing and post-processing, and it would make this overall a lot more pleasant. I'll be honest, I'm kind of smoked a little bit from manhandling all this stuff on the table, and then you know, having to like fine tune it because I didn't cut perfectly straight with the jigsaw. Second, also, I have made an absolute mess of my garage. I would definitely recommend cutting all the wooden foam outside because it's going to leave little scraps of everything all over the place. But oh well. And third tip, you're going to use way more glue than you think. I am at, let's see, I bought 6 initially, bought 8 more today. So I'm at 14 total glue. I have 1 left over today. I'm gonna have to go get another like 6 for tomorrow, I think, in order to get the roof and everything else up. We're not quite done as far as I wanted to get today, but we're out of time to work. So I'll take you guys off the tripod and we'll show you guys around the trailer, and then we'll talk about what's next and what's left to do and some other things I've learned. All right, so we're not 100% done with the front yet, but we've made some pretty good progress on it. We got most of the back done. Now, this is where I'm saying like a table saw would have made this better. There's like this little tiny gap here. You're not going to be able to see it by the time I put the inner panels and stuff on here, but it's just a little bit annoying. This would have been better with the table saw. I'm fine with it. Again, you're not going to see it, and ultimately this is just the storage section anyways. But this is what our storage section looks like. I wasn't going to do foam initially up here. There's really no reason to insulate this section, but I added it, and I'm going to add another face to this just to make this a cleaner, kind of like a cleaner look, so that when you come down here and you open up the door to get into the cabinet, that this kind of looks like a finished product down here. It also adds some rigidity for where rocks and things from the road are going to end up impacting up here on the front. I'm probably going to end up covering this with some kind of a diamond plate rubber mat of some kind, just for some added security. But I've got this all clamped down, and again, you're going to need a ton of clamps. As you can see, I got 4 more today, and I've still got all of them on the damn trailer right now. Moving over to this side, we haven't done this front piece yet because I haven't gone through to weld these wires or put these wires in yet because the floor is setting and I don't want to step on it while it's setting. I've got to come through and clean these couple of edges up. I couldn't get this edge because there's a screw that doesn't want to go in, so I'm going to have to pull this screw out and then router down this thing to get this to a smooth finish. We got this side panel on. Same thing, I need to come through and clean these off. These are too tight for the router, so I got to come through in a different way. Moving back here, we got the whole back done, well, mostly all done. So I just got weights sitting on it to keep some of the floor pieces together. But we've got the back mostly finished at this point, so a little bit more work to do back here. But you saw earlier that we routed out these door openings. We've got space on there. I've got to add a floor to that, but I'll do that tomorrow, and a couple other small things. The insulation for this back wall is on this side, as you can see. This is actually a good representation of what our sandwich looks like. So we got plywood, foam, plywood. I didn't do it on this side of the wall because I need as much depth as possible here, specifically for the cooler. It like barely fits as it is, so I needed that extra 1 inch there for the cooler. We got this wall all done the other day, and then you can see we added in our front panel on this side. It's all clamped down to keep this seam. So again, this isn't perfect. I wish I didn't have to have this seam, but I do, so it is what it is. I'll come through with some waterproof wood filler and some caulk to cover that up, and it's right on the edge of one of these 1x1s, or right in the center of one of these 1x1s. So it's not that big of a deal in terms of waterproofing, but it is just kind of annoying. Also, I recognize I didn't line up the grains of the wood. This isn't that important for that kind of a stuff. I'm using scrap. I got 6 pieces of wood left, which should be enough to do the whole roof, and I didn't want to burn a whole piece of wood just to make that one panel there to line everything up. This thing's going to get coated with bed liner anyways, so you're not going to be able to really tell. This side we did route down the whole thing, as you can see. We got our 1x1 sandwich here, and then much like the back, there's foam on the inside, as you guys saw. But that is what that's looking like so far. Alright, so as you guys saw as we were walking around there, some of these edges aren't completely perfect. Now, before I put on the roof, hopefully next weekend, before I put on the roof, I am going to come through here and sand this down. So I'm going to sand out some of this glue that we've got that's seeped out onto the top of the frame, sand it all down, smooth it out, and then I'll be able to apply the roof. For the roof, I'm going to go from the inside first and then up to the top and do the top part of the trailer at the very end. So overall though, I'm really happy with how this looks. It's not 100% perfect, and it's definitely been a little bit of a learning curve for me. I'm just not accustomed to doing this kind of work, but that's okay. I like how it's turning out so far. It is definitely, this was another full 8-hour days worth of work, just like the last skinning for the other, the first half of it was an 8-hour day. So you really need to budget your time appropriately. If you have a second set of hands, this will go a lot quicker, but for me, this takes an awful lot of time to do by myself. But I really like the way the trailer is starting to shape up. I really like the look of it. It feels really sturdy. I was initially hesitant that the glue wasn't going to be strong enough, that it was going to still flex because these are really thin panels. But this glue holds these panels down, and it's attached in so many different places with the glue and with the screws that, like, even this little section here, which yesterday was a little weak, right now it's rock solid. So I think this is going to be really good. There's so much glue on here and so much everything else just holding this thing together. I don't think we're going to have any problems with this whatsoever. I'm really happy with how it's starting to shape up. So if I had to boil down my tips, again, I would have a second set of hands if you can to run these boards through the table saw. If you have a small table saw, if you have a big one, you can do it yourself. Take your time with it. Be prepared to use a ton of glue. Like I said, I've already used everything that I bought, except for one little tube of it. I'm gonna have to go buy some more. So that's kind of annoying. I've gone to the Lowe's every day before I start one of these projects to get more of the glue. But take your time with it. You can definitely route out in like the build plans. It makes a lot of sense. This is easy enough to do. It just is really time consuming. So make sure you take your time, go slow, don't rush this, and just budget yourself to have enough time to work on this project. But I'm really happy with how this is shaping up so far. I think this looks really great, and I'm really stoked to see what this is going to look like when it's all finished up. In the next video, we're going to do the roof and finish the front and finish the rear, and that's going to be in the next video, part 3 of skinning this trailer. So we'll do those on the next one, and then after that, I'll probably do this off camera, but it's going to be a ton of just like cleaning. It's going to be sanding the edges and just prepping this surface so that it looks good. Before I apply any paint, this surface has to be perfect. So like this is pretty good, but I want this to be a perfect finished product before I'm done with it. So I'll probably do it off camera where I just come through and just sand all these edges, wood fill everything, et cetera, just to get this thing ready for paint. And then after that, we're gonna move on to rhino-lining this thing. I'm gonna rhino-line it without the doors or anything else on it. And I'm gonna do that because I'm gonna make the doors a different material. So this is gonna get rhino-lined and the doors are gonna be completely different. So I'm gonna fully paint this thing, fully water seal it, and then push it outside, and then we're gonna start working on the doors and the hatches and the other little things that need to go into this. So I hope you guys like this video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one when we finish off skinning the top of this trailer. See ya.